Hello everyone, welcome to Voxcel. In this, we're gonna discuss reading passage 3 of third test, which we have taken from Burlington Academic Book 2. We have already discussed reading passage 1 and passage 2 of this particular test. So if you haven't watched those videos, as always, you should watch them, but after watching this one. Without further ado, let me start. So first what we're going to do is we're going to read the title of the passage, and the title says Gem Mining in Sri Lanka. So from the title it is quite clear that this passage would be about gem mining, mining of jewelries or gems, different kind of gems. In which part of the world? In Sri Lanka. So it's in Asia, right below India, you can say south of India. Okay, so now what we will do is we will not read the paragraph just yet. We will go straight to the questions and see what kind of questions we are dealing with. First, we will see how what kind the number of questions we have to solve from questions number 28 to 40. So these questions we have to solve. Let's see what kind of questions, what type of questions we are dealing with. Questions 28 to 31. So look at the mining related activities and the list of statements below. So these are the mining related activities: river dredging, extraction, shallow pits, extraction, deep pits, processing. And these are the list of statements. Match each activity with the correct statement and write the correct letter A to H in boxes 28 to 31. So you have to match the activity with the correct statement, like which activity refers to which statement. So we will write that particular alphabet in front of it. From 32 to 36, we do not have to write more than two words. Let me change the color. So we cannot write more than two words. We have to complete the diagram. Okay, and 37 to 40, again, let me do this. We cannot write more than three words, and it's short answer type questions. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read the first paragraph and see whether we are able to find any of the activity here or not. And if yes, then we will find the answer, and if not, we will go to the next type of questions. Okay, first paragraph. Sri Lanka rivals Brazil and Russia for the honor of being the most prolific provider of colored gemstones in the world. Sapphires, rubies, and garnets are among the precious and semi precious stones found on this island in the Indian Ocean. So, now the first paragraph they are talking about Sri Lanka, and it being rival of Brazil and Russia in what kind of thing? In producing colored gemstones. So what kind of gemstones? Sapphires, rubies, and garnets. So these are among the precious and semi precious stones. Let me do this. When you compare this tiny nation with the huge area covered by the other two countries, it seems amazing that it produces so many high quality gemstones. So it is more significant than those two areas because of the area of the country. So in Sri Lanka, it's quite small country, or it's a smaller country compared to Brazil and Russia. So even though it's quite smaller, the area is smaller than that of Brazil and Russia. Still, it produces a lot of fine quality gemstones. Sri Lanka used to be known as Ratna Dvipa, so it's used to be known as this, like this, it was its past name, which means island of gems. Situated off the southern coast of India, this unique island was mentioned in legends and stories across the ancient world, including those of Marco Polo, who tells of a ruby as big as palm of your hand owned by the king. Okay, so it has been famous for its gems for a long time. So even in the ancient period, or in the stories ancient world, when Marco Polo was present, he talks about a ruby which was as big as the palm of your hand, and it was owned by the king of Sri Lanka. Okay, so let's see the questions now. Which activities? River dredging, we haven't read about anything about that. Extraction, shallow pits, deep pits, processing. So we haven't read any activity here, so there is no answer of to any question in this paragraph. So let's move on to other sets. Okay, so we have to find, so these usually are in order, but they are not always. So one or two questions will always be out of order. For example, you will find 32, then 33, then maybe 35, then 34, then 36, something like that. One or two questions in the diagram type of blanks will be out of order. These are not always in order. So let's see the first question. In pits deeper than 3 meters, dash are needed. So we have to fill in the blanks for this. So this is some kind of equipment. We haven't read anything about any equipment till now. So obviously this will not be here. And ILM, we haven't read anything about that. Miners enter the pit. No, we haven't read any information regarding this diagram in this paragraph. So we do not need to worry about that. Now we will read the questions. What was the former name of Sri Lanka? Okay. Have we read anything about that? Yes. In fact, we have read this about information of this in this paragraph. I will tell you the location. Okay. Yeah. Here it is. This is the location. Okay. Now you will have around 10 seconds to tell me the answer for this, and your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. And the answer to this question is, let me mark it, Ratna Dvipa. Here it is written. I hope everybody was able to find it. It was quite straightforward. Okay, so where it is written former name, yes, let me change the color first. Used to be known as, so used to be known as, basically it was known as in the past. So I have former name, basically past name of Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka used to be known as Ratnadvipa. So Ratnadvipa will be our answer. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the next paragraph. Okay, next question, sorry. Which group of people sometimes find gems by chance? There is no mention of anyone finding gems by chance. So we don't have to concern ourselves too much with this. We will read the second paragraph now. There has been gem mining in Sri Lanka for at least 2000 years, so there is a wealth of local information and tradition available to local miners. So they're talking about for how long gem mining is going on in Sri Lanka for at least 2000 years. Locating the best place to mine for gems is largely done based on prior experience, folklore, and tradition. So, these are the three things that decide on where to mine for gems. The rivers and streams are a good place to start, as gemstones have broken free from rocks are washed there by the rain. So, these are the places that are like good place to start. Why? Because the gemstones that are broken free from rocks are washed there by rain. Many mines are established informally after farmers discover a gem accidentally when turning over the lush fertile soil. So there are many mines that are established informally, like not by the government or something like that. Why? Because farmers discover gem accidentally when turning over the lush fertile soil. So during farming, so during plowing, they find the gem accidentally. The land will then temporarily become a series of mines. As Sri Lankan gem mining does not use toxic chemicals or heavy machinery, the land will soon be returned to arable use. So, since they are not using toxic chemicals or heavy machinery, their land will be returned to the usable state once mining has been completed. I hope the paragraph is clear. So let's see if there is any activity. River dredging, no extraction, no extraction of deep pits or processing. So there is no mention of any activity in this paragraph. So still now we haven't read any activity. So we will go to the next set of questions. This we have we read anything about this equipment? No, we haven't read anything about the equipment as well, even in this. So there is no digging of pits deeper than 3 meters or entering of miners. Yeah, there is mention of miners, like local miners here. Miners enter the pit, but they are not entering anywhere. So this is not the location. So 38th question, let's read that also. Which group of people sometimes find gems by chance? So is there any mention of finding gems by chance? Yes, there is. So we have to tell the name of the group of people that sometimes find gems by chance. So our location is in this paragraph only. So you have around 10 seconds to tell me the answer to this. I will just mark you the location. Okay. So this is the basically sentences where our location should be or is. You have around 10 seconds. Tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write the answer here, and the answer is farmers. Where it is? Here. So, which group of people sometimes find gems by chance? Where it is written? Yeah, here they are saying discover gem accidentally. So, find gem by chance. I hope it is clear. Is there is no doubt? I hope so. Okay, let's read the 39th question. What is the local name for the piece of equipment used in the legal river dredging? So we have to tell the local name of a piece of equipment. So there will be a piece of equipment, there will be some sort of tool that is used for river dredging, but in used for legal river dredging. So maybe there may be two types of river dredging, legal and illegal, but we have to tell the name of the tool that is used in legal river dredging, not illegal one. Okay. So we haven't read anything about tools, so we don't have to worry about that right now. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna read the next paragraph. Casual gem mining is almost routine in Ratnapura district, where most Sri Lanka's gems are found. So they are telling us that casual mining is done in this particular part of the particular country where gems are found. The mining methods used in Sri Lanka are specifically developed and suited to the terrain. Compared to the other gem producing countries, some of the techniques are simple and no longer used elsewhere. However, they are also safe, effective, and relatively inexpensive, which permits the greater involvement of less well-off rural communities. So they are telling that in in the information is saying us to us that the techniques that are used in Sri Lanka, they are simple and they are no longer used elsewhere, but they are safe, effective, and relatively inexpensive. So they can include the less well-off rural communities. The Sri Lankan government has in fact banned the use of heavy mechanized mining methods in gem mining. So the government has banned these kind of processes, heavy mechanized mining methods. This not only prevents the rapid loss of irreplaceable resource but also maintains an alternative source of revenue for much of the rural population who otherwise would be dependent almost entirely on agriculture. So it gives two benefits. The ban on heavy machinery, first, it doesn't erode the area and it can like be returned to its normal state after mining has been completed. Second, it provides employment opportunities to rural people otherwise that have been just be dependent on agriculture. Okay, let's move on to the questions. River dredging, there is no mention of this. Not extraction processing, so there is no mention of any mining related activity. They have talked about mining, but they haven't talked about any mining specific related activity. So let's see. In the pits deeper than 3 meters, there is no mention of any equipment as well. and there is no mention of obviously equipment, no mention of dredging, so our answer is not here. So in this paragraph, we do not find any answer. Okay, let's read the next paragraph. One of the simplest ways of extracting gems is river dredging. Okay, so we have found our first river dredging. Okay, let's read this paragraph carefully, then we will read the options. One of the simplest ways of extracting gems is river dredging. This involves raking up the river gravel or ilium into a shallow pile using a long handled iron rake like tool known as mamuti. So, what they do in this particular process is they rake up the river gravel. So, gravel is basically small stones, or they are called ilium. So I believe this should be the local name of that particular stone, or into a shallow pile. So we are making a shallow pile of that particular stones using a long handled iron rake like tool known as mamuti. So we are using this particular tool, and this particular tool is called mamuti. Fine particles are washed away by the river, leaving the coarser gravel to be picked through manually by workers. So the fine particles, they are obviously washed away by the river, and only the coarser gravel particles are picked manually by the workers. So manually basically means by hand. There is also widespread illegal dredging of rivers. Okay, so now they are talking about the illegal dredging. So this must be the legal one. So this is the illegal one, where locals use a gravel bar, an artificial construction which can damage river banks and affect water supply. So obviously, when you are using illegal means, you will be affecting or damaging the river banks. I hope it is clear. Now let's read the options. So we have to talk about the river dredging, which alphabet should be best for that, which is the correct statement. A option: special equipment is needed to bring the helium up. So is in river dredging we need, do we need special equipment to bring the helium up? Then A will be our answer. B, vehicles are required to carry out activity. C, washing and separating can be done by any worker. D, causes problems for locals sorry about that, causes problems for locals when not done lawfully. So it may be when we are not doing legally, when we are doing illegally, they will create problems. Obviously, only water from rivers is used for washing the helium takes place without delay. This uses a special container and hand movement. The water extracted is returned to the source. Okay, so now you have to tell me whether we have our answer in this or not. And yeah, we are talking about river dredging in this particular scenario. So you will have around 10 seconds to tell me which alphabet is the correct option for this, and whether it is here or not. This That's the another scenario you have to deal. So your 10 seconds start now. Okay, time's up. Now let's read the options together and see which option suits the best. Special equipment is needed to bring the helium up. Is there any mention of bringing the helium up and we need a special tool for that? No, they are just talking about raking it into a shallow pile, making a shallow pile of this, like putting it one over the other. So making a shallow pile, but there is no mention of a special equipment. 29th, extract sorry, B option, vehicles are required. There is no mention of any vehicle. Washing and separating can be done by any worker. Is there any mention of, yeah, they are talking about washed away by the river, but there is no mention that it can be done by any worker. No. D, causes problems for locals when not done lawfully. Is there any mention of creating problems for locals when it is not done legally? Yes, this is our, sorry about that. This is our answer. D option, where it is written here. So which can damage the river banks if uh, okay, and affect the water supply. So if done illegally. So from here to here. So illegal dredging is this. So they are not talking about legal or illegal dredging in this particular scenario. They are just talking about river dredging. So we know for the legal we have equipment. Okay, we will have to pile up the river gravel in a shallow pile with equipment called memuti. So because what happened is there is fine particles are washed away by the river. So by and the remaining are picked manually by the workers. And the illegal dredging, it causes harm to the environment, so causes problems for locals when not done lawfully. E, let's read the other options as well. E, only water from rivers is used for washing. There is no mention of washing. Washing the ilium, again, washing is not mentioned. This uses special container and hand movement. Yeah, there is mention of a special tool called memuti, but there is no mention of container or hand movement. The water extracted is returned to the source. We don't know whether the water is returned. Obviously, it's done through in the river, so we are not taking away water from the river, but it is not mentioned specifically either that we are returning water to the source, so we cannot mark this as our answer. I hope it is clear. Okay, moving on to the next set of questions and see whether there is any other answer here or not. In pits deeper than 3 meters, there is no mention of miners enter the pit. There is no mention of there is no construction talk about any construction, something like that. So our answer is not in this particular paragraph. Moving to the next, what is the local name for the piece of equipment used in legal river dredging? Yeah, there is our answer in this paragraph. And again, let me tell you this. So here they are talking about illegal, so obviously from here to here we are talking about our legal river dredging, so our answer should be in this particular sentences. Okay, and for the answer you have around 10 seconds and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna write the answer here and see whether you were able to find out the correct answer or not. And the answer is memuti. Here it is written. Question 39. I hope it is clear. Okay, let's move on to the 40th question. Who does the best known blue survivor Sri Lanka belong to? Okay, so we have to find out who owns the best known blue sapphire from Sri Lanka belong to now. Okay, so at present, owns this particular blue sapphire? So we have to write the name of the person basically. So we haven't read anything about that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna read the next paragraph. Where it is suspected that gems are under the land rather than in water, shallow gem pits are constructed by simply digging down until the helium is reached. The helium is then extracted and washed before being handed to an experienced sorter who picks out gem minerals. All the labor is carried out by hand using hand tools and woven baskets, and the helium is washed as soon as it is extracted. Washing is usually carried out using water extracted from the pit or more rarely from nearby streams and rivers. When it is legal licensed operation, then the pit is usually filled back up once mining has finished, particularly when pitting is taking place on agricultural land. This rarely happens if the mining is unlicensed and illegal. So now they're talking about what happens in the legal mining and what happens in the illegal mining, what kind of pits they dig up, something like that. Okay, now let's see extraction shallow pits. Is there any mention of Shallow pits. Yes, there is. Where it is? Let me change the color. Here, shallow jam pits are constructed. So there is mention of construction of shallow pits for extraction. Now you will have. Uh, so this is your basically the part where your information is given. Now this is. Let me mark this. So your information is from here to basically. Uh, let's say here. So this is your shallow pit. So this is your paragraph where your information is given. So you have around 10 seconds. Tell me the answer. If you need more time than that, you can pause the video and continue when you're ready with your answer. So your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the options and see which option is correct. A. Special equipment is needed to bring the helium up. Is this our answer? No, this is not our answer because there is no mention of we have to bring the helium up. We need special equipment. They're just talking about extracting the equipment and then picking it up. Vehicles are required. There is no mention of vehicles. Washing and separating can be done by any worker. Can this be our answer? Washing and separating can be done by any worker? No. Why? Yes, because there is no mention that this thing can be done by any worker or not. They have just told us this need to be done, like all the labor is carried by hand. Okay, so there is like washing is usually carried out using water extracted from this particular thing, but there is no mention or like what kind of worker do we need, and can this be done by any worker or do we need special workers? We don't have any information on this. D, we have done. Only water from rivers is used for this particular purpose. Can this be our answer? No. Why? Because water we are using from the pit and okay, sorry about that. And rarely we are using water from rivers. It's not like we are using waters only from rivers. We are using river water, but only rarely. Most of the times, water extracted from pit is used to wash this particular product. F. Washing the helium takes place without delay. Is this our answer? Yes, this is our answer. Let me mark this first. Where it is written? Here. Helium is extracted washed as soon as it is extracted. So it is written helium is washed as soon as it is extracted. So that means it is washed without delay. So there is no delay while washing it. Hope it is clear. Let's read the other set of questions and see deep pits. We haven't read anything about deep pits, so we will read the next paragraph for this. So is there any answer to from 32 to 36? First, I will give you few seconds to tell me whether there is any answer here or not. And your 5 seconds about start now. Okay, time's up. There is no location here, so because there is no mention of pits deeper than 3 meters. Basically we are talking about shallow pits, and this should be a, like basically deep pit. So this is not in this particular paragraph. And last question, we have to know tell the name of the person that has the blue sapphire now, but there is no mention of that, so this is not our location. So we will read the next paragraph. If the helium is found at a depth greater than about 3 meters. So now we are talking about depth greater than 3 meters. So basically it should be deep pits. Okay. Then the use of open pits is impractical and deep vertical shafts are constructed. So here they are talking about deep shafts. Wood, bamboo, and leaves support the walls, and numerous cross beams are placed to brace the wall supports and to provide access for the workers. Now they are using wood, bamboo, and leaf. that supports the wall, and numerous cross beams they are placed to brace the wall supports and provide access to for the workers. Due to the greater depth, manual extraction of water is not practical, and usually an old diesel engine from a truck or bus is used to power a pump. So now, because the depth is greater, we cannot extract water manually. For that, what we use an old diesel engine from a truck or a bus. Furthermore, a ventilation pipe which doubles as a mean of communication with those working underground is used to ensure an adequate air flows to the miners. Now we are using a ventilation pipe that is used for communication as well as for the flow of air, so that they can breathe. Lighting is provided by oil lamps or wax candles, although this does lead to additional ventilation problems. Usually, a manual winch is used to haul the gem bearing helium to the surface. So now they are saying that a manual winch is used to like haul the gem to the surface. Okay, to bring to the surface, we use a manual winch. So now we are talking about extraction from deep pits. What will you do? Now you have around 10 seconds. Tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the options together now. Special equipment is needed to bring the helium up. Can this be our answer? Yes, in fact, this is our answer. Where it is written? Here, in the last sentence itself. Let me first mark it, then I will explain. This is question number 30. So, to haul the gem, to haul basically means to bring the gem to the surface. So, to bring the gem up to the surface. So, from bottom to the up. So, we are using special equipment, which is in what is the name of the special equipment? Manual winch. I hope it is clear. Let's read the other option. Vehicles are required to carry out this activity. Yeah, I can see some of you might have marked this option because here it is written an old diesel engine, but be very careful. Here it is written an old diesel engine is used. Okay, let me do this. Why this can be our answer? Because here it is written an old diesel engine is used, not a vehicle. Okay, it's an engine, not the entire vehicle, so it cannot be our answer. Washing and separating can be done. This is not mentioned. Water from river, so we have already established this is not the answer for the first for the like shallow pits. Special container for hand movement, this is not mentioned here. The water extracted is returned to the source, again not mentioned. I hope it is clear. Let's look at the remaining questions. Okay, like from this, like 32 to 36. So in pits deeper than 3 meters, dash are needed. So is there any mention about 3 meters depth or things like that? Yes. First, let me change the color. So here it is mentioned about 3 meters. Okay. So obviously our answer should be close to here. So you will get around 10 seconds to tell me what should be the answer to question number 32. And your time starts now. Okay, time's up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write the answer here and see whether you were able to arrive at the correct answer or not. So the answer to this is vertical shafts. So let me mark the answer first. So this is the location of our answer. I'm gonna explain to you why this is our answer. Just give me one sec. Okay. So here they said in pits deeper than 3 meters dash are needed. So we need something. So we have to talk about that. And R it refers to plural form. So that's why in the ileum is found, if the ileum is found at a depth greater than about 3 meters, then the use of open pits is impractical. So that open pits cannot be used. So what are needed? Deep vertical shafts are constructed. So that's why we are constructing them, because we need them. We cannot write deep vertical shafts because we have to write only two word, maximum of two words. So if we write deep vertical shaft, it will be three words and the answer will be marked as incorrect. I hope you got it. Now 33. So now in this paragraph, what usually happens is, if you have to solve this particular diagram or diagram like this, you will get answers in one particular paragraph most of the times. Even at max, you will get one answer like in the above or in the below paragraph. But most of the answers you will get in the same paragraph. Let's see what should be the what is 33 question referring to. Sorry about that. So if we look at the diagram, we can see this 33 is some sort of equipment, I believe. Okay, and air is written. So I believe it is used to let in air or something like that. So let's see what is used to let in air, and is there anything mentioned about that? For like as far as I can remember, yeah, there was some information about letting air in. So let's read together again. Wood, bamboo, and leaves support the walls, and numerous crossbeams are placed to brace the wall supports and to provide access for the workers. Due to the greater depth, manual extraction of water is not practical, and usually an old diesel engine from a truck or bus is used to power a pump. Furthermore, a ventilation pipe which doubles as a means of communication with those working and used to ensure adequate air. So here is something about air. So this is our sentence, and you will get around 10 seconds to tell me the answer. And I believe it's quite straightforward. And your time starts now. Okay, time's up. I'm gonna like mark the answer here, write the answer, and the answer to this is ventilation pipe. Oh, sorry about that. Here it is written. Let me write the question number here. So I hope it is quite clear. So here they are saying, let me mark the color also. Adequate flow of air to the miners. Okay, so first it's also used for communication, but we have air as a like sort of indicator with it, because these are the vertical shafts. So this is the ventilation pipe which is used to let in the air. I hope it is clear. Now moving on to 34th. Now if you look at the 34th question, the diagram in the 34th question, so what do you think this looks like? So it looks like some sort of equipment, right? So, and it is written with this particular word helium. And let's read then further. Lighting is provided by oil lamp or wax candles, although this does lead to additional ventilation problems. Usually a manual winch is used to haul the jam bearing helium to the surface. Okay, now, if you look at the diagram, this particular thing is written with helium, so it is referring to the helium. So, helium is in this particular sentence. So, that means our answer is in this. So, you will have around 5 seconds to tell me the answer, and your time starts now. If you need more time, you can pause the video and then you can continue when when you're ready with your answer. Right now, I'm gonna write the answer here, and the answer is manual winch. Let me write the question first here. This is question 34. So the answer to this question is manual winch. So this is manual winch used to lift helium up to the surface. I hope it is clear. Now 35. Okay. So 35, you can see there is again a sort of an equipment. Okay, and water is used with it. What other equipment is used here? Can you tell me? I think it's quite obvious the answer. You will get 5 seconds for this and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. And the answer to this particular question will be diesel engine. Let me mark this answer. So the answer to this particular question number 35 is diesel engine, because only two equipments are used. So if this says winch, this is diesel engine. So let me write this answer here. Diesel engine. I hope it is clear. So let's read it together. So due to greater depth, manual extraction of water is not practical. So here they have said extraction of water is not practical. So what they use? Diesel engine from a bus to power the pump. So to use extract the water, we use this. So that's why water is written here with diesel engine, and with helium we are using manual winch. I hope it is clear. Moving on to the last 36th question of this particular set. Miners enter the pit where? So I think we have read something about entering somewhere. Yeah, here. Provide access to the workers. So obviously this is the location. Now you will have around 5 seconds for this again and your time starts now. Okay, time's up and the answer to this question is cross beams. So let me mark this, then I will explain it to you why this is our answer. So here, if you look closely, what they are saying, miners enter the pit via. Okay, sorry about that. So via means through something. So here they are using cross beams are placed. Okay, to provide access for the workers. So why they are placed to provide access to the workers. For the workers basically miners, those people who are mining at that particular place, they are workers, in other words you can say miners for this particular profession. Hope it is clear. So we have solved all these. So if you look closely, this is your 32, 33, 34, but 35 and 36 they are not in order. So when you are solving diagrams, one or two questions might not be in order, but they will be nearby. It's not like those questions will be in entirely different location, like way far away from that other answers. They will be nearby. Hope it is clear. Let's read the last question. Let's see if that answer. No, we haven't read anything about blue sapphire and right now. So, what is left? Okay, two questions are left, 31 and 40. Let's see. Now we have to find out processing activity. Almost all the processing. So, here is processing. Let me change the color. So, now here is something about processing. So, let's read it together. Almost all the processing of the helium washing and cleaning. So these are there are two processes in this: washing and cleaning. Gem picking and sorting is carried out by hand. So these are things carried out by hand. Large wicker baskets with a particular lipped design are used. So this is the basket they are using. It has some sort of special design. A portion of the gem gravel is placed in the basket, which is then dipped in and out of the water with a gentle swirling action, which washes the fine clay, silt, and sand away from the heavier gem minerals, which tend to sink towards the base of the sediment. Eventually, a skilled washer will reduce the initial helium down to a heavy mineral concentrate, which should contain any gems that are present. So they are saying how these are washed and what kind of people are appointed to wash this particular type of mineral. Okay, so this is all about processing. Now you will have around 10 seconds for this to tell me the answer, and your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Let's read the options together. We know B is not the answer because it's the opposite of extraction deep pits. C, washing and separating can be done by any worker. Can this be our answer? No, in fact, it is the exact opposite. Here they are said can be done by any worker, but they are saying we need a skill washer that will wash and reduce the helium to the heavy mineral. So it cannot be done by any worker. We need skilled worker for this. So D we have done. E cannot be our answer. F we have done. So we have only two options left, G or H. Let's read G option. This uses a special container and hand movement. Can this be our answer, or the water extracted is returned to the source? Is this our answer? Yeah. H cannot be our answer because there is no mention of water returning to the source. So our answer to this question is option G. Let me mark here first. G option. So sorry about that. So where it is written, why it is G? So first, if you look closely here, they are saying carried out by hand, and then large wicker baskets are used. So these two things are done. Special container, large wicker basket with special design. So particular design. So that is basically special design, and by hand movement. This is 31. I hope it is clear. So then they have told all about why, how it is was something like that. Clear? So let's see if there is any mention. So we have done this. So this is not mentioned here. So this should be our answer in the last paragraph. Let's read it together. Gemstones are worth millions of rupees to the Sri Lankan economy every year. Perhaps the most famous stone to have come out of this island nation is the iconic sapphire in UK Princess Diana's engagement ring, currently owned by Catherine of Wales, King Charles III's daughter-in-law. The marvel of the Sri Lanka gem industry is that it yields so many colorful stones with minimal damage to the environment, and that ordinary people also benefit from opportunities for casual mining. Okay, so here obviously our answer is given. I will give you around 5 seconds to tell me the answer. So our answer is in this particular location. So for this, your time starts now. Okay, time's up. And answer to this question is yes, Catherine of Wales. So this is our answer. Let me write the question number here. So just let me write the answer, then I will explain why this is the answer. Now, why this is the answer and why not Diana's Princess Diana is not the answer, because again they are saying here about now, and for now currently owned by. So currently basically at present who is the owner of this particular sapphire? Here it is written. So, who is the owner of this iconic sapphire, best known sapphire, iconic sapphire? Currently, Catherine of Wales. So, I hope it is clear. So, let's see. We have done these questions. Yeah, all questions, and yeah, we have marked these. So this is how you should solve your reading, because if you are not reading carefully. So skimming and scanning are part of it, but if you are not reading carefully, when you find the location, it will be very difficult for you to get the correct answer every time. So you will be like doing uh, trials. So you will be doing guesswork, making guesses all along. It is not recommended. Yeah. uh, right now my videos are taking a bit more time. Why? Because I'm trying to explain to you everything. But when you are reading yourself, you will not have to translate it to yourself again and again. You will just find the location, find the keywords, like I match those keywords, and then find the correct answer. So that's it for this video then. I will see you in the next video. Till then, take care and goodbye.